Hello and a very good evening. You're watching the news at 6 on Rajya Sabha television with me, Frank Pereira. Here are this evening's headlines. Multi-speciality hospital at Katargram, high-tech diamond factory at Ichhapur, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated series of projects on the second day of his visit to Gujarat. Nepal President Vidya Devi Bhandari arrives in Delhi for a 5-day goodwill visit. Talks with high-level delegation to focus on deepening development partnership between the two countries. Delhi's crime branch files FIR against TTV Dinakaran, the Deputy General Secretary of the AIADMK. Shashikala faction charged with allegedly trying to bribe an election commission official for the party symbol. And celebrations and protests greet President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Elections win. 51% of the electorate vote in favor of his push for an executive presidency. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a slew of projects in Surat and Dadra and Nagar Haveli today. He arrived in Surat to a rousing welcome on Sunday. The visits assume significance as assembly elections in Gujarat are slated for this year, and the BJP could witness a fight from the Patidar community seeking reservation.
On the second day of his visit to Gujarat on Monday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurated a charitable hospital in Surat. The 400 crore rupee multi-super speciality hospital and research centre is built by a not-for-profit body, the Samast Patidar Arogya Trust. The Prime Minister indicated that the government may bring in a legal framework under which doctors will have to prescribe generic medicines that are cheaper than branded drugs to patients.
अभी हेल्थ पॉलिसी घोषित की है। अटल जी की सरकार के बाद 15 साल के बाद इस सरकार ने हेल्थ पॉलिसी लाई है, लेकिन गरीब के लिए, मध्यम वर्ग के लिए आरोग्य सेवाएं सुचारू रूप से उपलब्ध हो, उस दिशा में सरकार एक के बाद एक कदम उठा रही है। हम कानूनन व्यवस्था करने वाले हैं। डॉक्टर पर्ची लिखेंगे तो उसमें लिखेंगे कि जेनरिक दवा खरीदने के लिए उसके लिए काफी है और दवा खरीदने की जरूरत नहीं है।
Modi also inaugurated a fully automatic cattle feed plant and an ice cream plant of Sumul Dairy at Bajipura village in Tapi district. Later, in neighbouring Silvassa, the Prime Minister inaugurated a slew of government projects, including Passport Seva Kendra and the Jan Aushadhi Kendras.
हमने एक सपना संजोया है। 2022 जब आजादी के 75 साल होंगे, हमारे देश का एक भी गरीब ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए जिसके पास रहने के लिए अपना खुद का घर न हो।
Narendra Modi arrived in Surat on Sunday to a rousing reception, leading an 11-kilometer roadshow from the airport to the Circuit House. This is the Prime Minister's second visit to Gujarat and the first to the Patidar community stronghold Surat after he assumed office in 2014. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, China has reiterated that Dalai Lama's recent visit to Arunachal Pradesh has negatively impacted the India-China ties. In a statement, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lu Kang said today, and I quote, "In the past, due to some reason that we all know, the political foundation of China and India relations were undermined. This had a negative impact for the bilateral relations and also the boundary question negotiations." He further added, "We urge the Indian side to observe its commitment to Tibet-related issues and implement our consensus. Namely, they should not use the Dalai Lama to undermine the interests of China. Only in this way can we create a good atmosphere to the settlement of the boundary question." Lu's comments were in response to a statement on Friday from the External Affairs Ministry that there was no change in New Delhi's position on Tibet being part of China. But China did lodge a diplomatic protest with India when the Dalai Lama visited Arunachal Pradesh this month. Well, hours after the Delhi crime branch registered a case against TTV Dinakaran for allegedly trying to bribe the Election Commission, he denied the charges, calling it a political conspiracy. A special team comprising sleuths of the interstate cell of crime branch has been formed to probe the high-profile case.
Delhi's crime branch filed an FIR against TTV Dinakaran, the Deputy General Secretary of the AIADMK Sasikala faction. The police charged Dinakaran with allegedly trying to bribe an election commission official. Dinakaran has claimed that efforts were being made to destroy his organization politically. The police action comes after the arrest of an alleged middleman, Sukesh Chandrasekhar, from a five-star hotel in Delhi on Sunday.
How does a broker or somebody say that it is money from TTV Dinakaran? The person whom I doesn't know, only just now I saw him in the TV channel, some English channel, his photograph, he is arrested. Like, if there is any summon from the police, Delhi police, I will legally face it. What is there? I will answer them. And I don't know anybody by this name. I didn't ever come in my life in that name, Sukesh Chandrasekhar. And I didn't bribe for anyway. I bribed to anybody for anything.
The alleged bribe was offered in an attempt to get AIADMK's poll symbol of 2 leaves in a by-election to the RK Nagar Assembly seat in Tamil Nadu. Sasikala's faction adopted the hat symbol after the Election Commission froze the 2-leaf symbol, acknowledging the split in the party. The O. Pannirselvam camp was given the electric pole symbol.
Today we have filed thousands of affidavits which were given by the supporters of Mr. O. Pannirselvam, who is the head of the true AIADMK, before the Election Commission, in order to establish that we are the true AIADMK and we are entitled for the 2-leaf symbol. And we have also sought time for filing lakhs of affidavits before the Election Commission by the office bearers and the primary members of the AIADMK party.
At least 1.3 crore rupees was recovered from Chandrasekhar that police claim he was planning to use to bribe EC officials. Around 50 crore rupees were paid as bribe. An FIR was filed under Section 8 of the Prevention of Corruption Act that pertains to taking gratification by corrupt or illegal means to influence public servants. Dinakaran will be served notice to join the investigation.
That shows their desperation in capturing the party and power. See, whenever a leader is no more, the party without a second-rank leader is bound to split, because both the sides are being power mongers. They want to capture both the power and the party. That is what is going on now. But this is a very shameful thing that this has gone to this extent of bribing the Election Commission.
These people are mafia people. These people are criminals indulging in bad activities where Tamil Nadu people don't like them at all. That's why I'm insisting again and again, requesting Honorable Prime Minister to invoke 356 at Tamil Nadu. Because every minister there, even the chief minister, involved in corruption and involved in all illegal activities.
Meanwhile, the O. Pannirselvam-led AIADMK faction on Monday rejected Dinakaran's call to return to the parent party. The rebel camp, however, refused to accept his leadership. The EC cancelled the by-poll to the RK Nagar Assembly seat, which was scheduled for the 12th of April, saying that the electoral process had been corrupted through the use of money power. The by-poll had become necessary owing to the death of the then Chief Minister J. Jayalalitha last December. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has hit out at politicians staying silent on the issue of triple talaq, comparing their silence to the disrobing of Draupadi in the Mahabharata. Yogi Adityanath said that by keeping mum, politicians are as culpable as those practicing it. The Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister made these comments at an event to mark the 91st birth anniversary of former Prime Minister Chandrasekhar. Batting for the Uniform Civil Code in the country, Adityanath called for putting an end to triple talaq among the Muslim community. Yogi's remarks come a day after Prime Minister Modi made a strong pitch against triple talaq. Modi said that the exploitation of Muslim women should end and justice should be done to them.
मुझे याद आता है जब आज लोग देश की एक ज्वलंत समस्या को लेकर के मुंह बंद किए हुए हैं, तो मुझे मां भारत की वह सभा याद आती है जब द्रौपदी का चीरहरण हो रहा होता है और उस समय द्रौपदी ने उस भरी सभा से एक प्रश्न पूछा था कि आखिर इस घटना का दोषी कौन है।
हिंदुओं के बिलीफ के लिहाज से जो भी उसमें हुआ वो उनका अकीदा है। ये ट्रिपल डाइवोर्स कतई ऐसा उससे कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते आप, इसलिए कि ये एक रिलीजियस राइट है जो इसका मिसयूज होता है और कानून अपनी जगह पे है।
वनस्पत के इसे हम राजनीतिक मुद्दा बनाए, इसे सोशल मुद्दा बना करके और सोशली और उसमें भी मुस्लिम समाज आगे आए, उनको गोलमोल बातें नहीं करके एक सीधी लाइन दें, ये सब लोगों की मंशा है, लेकिन कोर्ट के विचाराधीन है और कोर्ट पर छोड़ देना चाहिए।
People like Adityanath ji, now the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, by bringing up this issue, in fact, and linking it with the Uniform Civil Code, he is undermining or he is showing up the doublespeak of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
Well, protesters clashed with police in Srinagar amid a spike in violence after the army allegedly tied a man to the front of a jeep as a human shield. The Jammu and Kashmir police filed an FIR against the army for the same. Broadband and mobile internet services have been suspended in Kashmir Valley indefinitely after college students protesting the use of force against their friends in Pulwama district pelted stones at security personnel. The forces in turn fired tear gas shells at the protesters. The developments come after a video of the incident went viral last week, drawing widespread condemnation. Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti had sought a detailed report from the state police. The army also conducted an investigation into the incident. Meanwhile, all schools in Jammu and Kashmir's Nowshera sector have been closed from the time being amidst the ongoing ceasefire violation by Pakistan. The Pakistani army earlier in the day initiated indiscriminate firing of small arms, automatics and mortars along the line of control. The Indian Army posts also retaliated to the firing.
Central government as well as state government, they are doing their best to control the situation, and we shall be able to do it. Our police is brave police, our security forces they are brave people, and we shall definitely be able to deal with it.
प्रोटेस्ट इसी बात पे है ताकि जो हमारे भाई शहीद हो रहे हैं, जो हम पे जुल्म ज़्यादा ढा रहे हैं, हम उसके खिलाफ मजम्मत करते हैं। ये प्रोटेस्ट उसी के खिलाफ है।
Well, wholesale price inflation eased to 5.7% in March on the back of softening prices of fuel and manufactured items. WPI inflation stood at 6.55% in February, but it was in the negative zone at minus 0.4% in March 2016. Fuel inflation declined to 18.16% from 21.02% in February. Manufactured items also witnessed a fall in prices, with inflation being recorded at 2.99% in March against 3.66% in the previous month. Food inflation, however, inched up to 3.12% in March from 2.69% in February on festival demand. But it's only mid-April and temperatures continue to soar well into the 40s across the country. Parts of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are facing a heat wave with the mercury hovering above 40 degrees. The Met Department said that the maximum temperature is likely to be above normal by 2 to 4 degrees and above 42 degrees at isolated places in North Telangana. A heat wave alert was also sounded for central Maharashtra and Marathwada regions where the mercury remains above 40 degrees. In Rajasthan, too, severe heat wave conditions have disrupted normal life. Sri Ganganagar was the hottest place in the state with maximum temperature of 46 degrees. Unrelenting heat wave continues to grip the north too. Most parts of Haryana, Punjab, UP and Delhi are reeling under heat wave conditions. But there could be some relief in sight as the western disturbance is likely to hit the hills by April 21st. Meanwhile, in the east, the Met Department has warned of thunderstorms in Bihar, West Bengal, Assam and Meghalaya. It may also rain in parts of Odisha due to cyclonic storm Marutha. Well, here's a look at some more news from across the country in Nationwide. Well, the Supreme Court on Monday ordered the auction of Sahara Group's Ambi Valley property worth about 39,000 crore rupees. The court directed Subroto Roy, Sahara's chief out on parole, to also be present in the court on April 27th, the next date of hearing. The Ambi Valley auction is to ensure recovery of about 14,000 crore rupees that the group owes to investors who were duped. The Enforcement Directorate has issued a show-cause notice to Karti Chidambaram and others for alleged forex violations to the tune of 45 crore rupees. The agency has also issued a notice to Chennai-based pharma firm for FEMA contraventions to the tune of 2,262 crore rupees. Former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram's son Karti Chidambaram was a director in the company. The Supreme Court took strong note today of huge vacancy in police force in 6 states. It has asked the Home Secretaries of Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal to appear personally or depute an officer to assist it. The 6 states have also been asked to provide a roadmap as to how they plan to fulfill the vacancies. It needs to be submitted in the Apex Court by Friday. P.K. Kunalikutty of the Congress-led UDF today won the Malappuram bypoll in Kerala by more than 1.7 lakh votes. CPIM's MB Faisal was the first runner-up, while the BJP candidate N. Shri Prakash was a distant third. The bypoll, which took place on April 12th, was necessitated following the demise of former Union Minister E. Ahmed. The Delhi government has requested the Supreme Court on Monday to set up a constitution bench at the earliest to decide on the administrative head of the National Capital Territory. The top court had last month referred to a constitution bench, a batch of pleas filed by the AAP government against the High Court verdict, which had held that Delhi is not a state and that the Lieutenant Governor is its administrative head. Well, it's time for a short break now, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The sacred relics of Buddha were unearthed in Piprava in Uttar Pradesh. Buddhist monks from all over the world visit the National Museum to pay their respects. These charred bone fragments of Buddha are housed in the gold canopy gifted by the royal family of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Rajya Sabha television. Well, Indian leaders will have a series of talks with Nepal's President Bidya Devi Bhandari on Monday. The discussions will focus on political and business and social issues related to Madeshis of Nepal. India is attaching a lot of importance to the 5-day presidential visit of Bhandari. Nepal's President Bidya Devi Bhandari arrived in Delhi on Monday for a 5-day goodwill visit to India. She is accompanied by a high-level delegation from Nepal that includes ministers, members of parliament and senior officials. Bhandari is in India at the invitation of President Pranab Mukherjee for what is her first visit abroad after becoming president. The main focus of her visit will be to broaden development partnership between the two countries, including deepening the cooperation in the power sector.
Now, I would like to really look ahead in terms of India-Nepal cooperation on hydropower sector. And as I alluded to you, it is really witnessing a new beginning, if I may say so. And as I mentioned to you, it is not a small thing for us to invest and approve, upfront invest about 6,000 crores worth of investment in a project in Nepal. This agreement was signed in 2014.
Among her meetings with Indian leaders, Bhandari will call on President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj on Tuesday. Her talks will feature issues of terrorism and connectivity between the two countries.
The government of Nepal had proposed 16 road projects and bridges of amount of approximately $300 million under the line of credit of $550 million, which we have agreed to, and we look forward to their implementations in the coming months. It is in this context of intensified engagement with Nepal that the state visit of President of Nepal is taking place.
Bhandari will also visit places of religious importance in Gujarat and Odisha. Her trip comes at a time when China is wooing Nepal with goods and aid, while India is focused on deepening its development partnership, cultural and people-to-people contacts. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha Television. Now to Turkey, where President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's push for an executive presidency succeeded with just over 51% voting for it. The win was met with both celebrations and protests across Turkey. Here's more.
It's the dawn of a new political system in Turkey as its parliamentary democracy gets replaced with an executive presidency, with the Yes campaign winning with a narrow majority of 51.3%. The historic referendum victory now hands President Recep Tayyip Erdogan sweeping new powers.
Bugün yapılan anayasa değişikliği halk oylamasının sonuçlarının ülkemiz ve milletimiz için hayırlı olmasını diliyorum. Milletimiz bir kez daha gerçekten çok müstesna.
Accepting the people's mandate, the Turkish Prime Minister too joined in the celebrations, saying the referendum's results have opened a new page in democratic history.
Demokrasi tarihimizde bu oylamayla yeni bir sayfa açılmıştır. Herkes emin olsun ki.
But protests were held in many places across Turkey against the referendum result. Opposition parties have questioned the legitimacy of the referendum, criticizing the High Electoral Board for making the vote controversial. Turkey's High Electoral Board had said that it would count ballots which had not been stamped by its officials as valid unless they could be proved fraudulent.
Milletin kararına saygılıyız ama milletin kararına Yüksek Seçim Kurulu gölge düşürmüştür. Hukuksal açıdan da, kamu vicdanı açısından da referandumun meşruiyetini tartışmalı hale getirdiler.
Turkish residents too are questioning the results of the referendum. Three of Turkey's biggest cities, Istanbul, Ankara and Izmir, all voted no to the constitutional changes.
Referandum sonucundan ortaya çıkan sayısal sonuç %50 yani yarı yarıya ve bu şu demektir, yani toplumun çok geneli bu referandumu kabul etmediği çok açıktır.
Turkey will not turn to the new presidential system until 2019, when Erdogan's current term ends and fresh parliamentary elections will be held concurrently. Turkey has followed the parliamentary system since the Republic of Turkey was founded in 1923. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
US Vice President Mike Pence warned North Korea that neither the United States nor South Korea will tolerate further missile and nuclear tests. Pence used a visit to the heavily militarized border separating North and South Korea to reiterate Washington's position in dealing with Pyongyang. He added that all options are on the table to deal with the threat posed by Pyongyang. He also described North Korea as the region's most dangerous and urgent threat to peace and security. Pence visited the zone a day after North Korea made a failed missile launch.
Over the past 18 months, North Korea has conducted 2 unlawful nuclear tests and an unprecedented number of ballistic missile tests, even conducting a failed missile launch as I traveled here for this visit. The era of strategic patience is over.
Here's a roundup of what else is making news from across the globe in Global Buzz. South Korea's ousted President Park Geun-hye was on Monday charged with bribery involving millions of dollars over the corruption scandal that sparked her downfall. Park, whose impeachment was confirmed by Seoul's top court last month, also faces charges of abusing her powers and leaking state secrets. The death toll in a bomb attack on a crowded bus convoy outside Aleppo has reached 126. According to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, 68 children were among those killed. The blast hit a convoy carrying people, including civilians and several hundred pro-government fighters who were granted safe passage out of the two Shiite villages which are besieged by rebels. U.S. National Security Advisor Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster on Monday said that Pakistan should use diplomacy and not proxies that engage in violence to pursue its interests in Afghanistan and elsewhere. The U.S. NSA further criticized the Pakistani leadership for selectively targeting terror groups. McMaster, in an interview to Afghan television channel, appeared to take a tougher line on Pakistan, which has been accused of using the Taliban as a proxy force and giving its leaders sanctuary. China's economy posted a forecast-beating growth rate in the first quarter of 2017, with the GDP rising to 6.9%. The growth was well above the full-year target of 6.5% and the 6.8% increase registered in the fourth quarter of 2016. The GDP reached $2.63 trillion in the first quarter. The death toll in the collapse of an open garbage dump in Colombo rose to 29 as rescuers pulled out more bodies from the rubble today. According to the Disaster Management Center, at least 625 people had been displaced so far. Around 1,000 security personnel were deployed for rescue operation. The massive garbage caught fire and collapsed on dozens of homes as the residents celebrated the traditional New Year on April 14. Well, the Supreme Court on Monday said that the former BCCI President N. Srinivasan can't represent the board at the ICC meeting to be held on April 24th. The court also added that the BCCI CEO Rahul Johri can accompany Chowdhury for the meeting. The apex court said it is allowing BCCI Acting Secretary Amitabh Chowdhury to represent the board at the meeting. Explaining its verdict, a bench headed by Justice Deepak Mishra stated that since Srinivasan was held guilty for conflict of interest, he can't be allowed to represent the BCCI in the ICC meeting. On April 10th, the apex court had said that a person who is ineligible to become the office bearer in the BCCI and state cricket associations cannot be nominated to the part in the ICC meetings. Well, that's it on this newscast. Have a good evening.